Well, I have been doing real estate transactions for a couple of decades, both in Los Angeles as well as Minneapolis before coming here to Greenville. And I've worked with some of the best realtors in the country, and those are major markets, as you well know. And even working here in the Greenville area, I had the pleasure of working with some of the top realtors. I have never seen the quality of professionalism, expertise, compassion, wisdom, and just straight out smarts as I've seen with DavidPainter. Without question, I would refer him to a colleague, a friend, a business associate, client, or family member, again, without reservation. Some of the things that have impressed me the most about him is that he is incredibly responsive, but knowledgeably responsive, not just getting back to you quickly just for the sake of time. He does his homework, he researches everything to a fairly well, and having gotten my PhD just as I turned 25, education and knowledge means a lot to me, and this man fills the bill for me in every way in that regard. But I want a realtor with soul, not just the knowledge, the book smarts, and he's got all of that as well. He'll hold your hand if you need hand-holding, but he'll give you the independence and flexibility you need if you're an entrepreneur or a business person, as I am. One of the other things I've really respected and admired about David is that he protects his clients. When I think back of the transactions I've done in the last, let's say 5 years, which maybe number over 10, not once did any of those esteemed realtors protect me the way David has, and I am so astonished with how much I've learned. You think, after 20 years, how much more can you learn about real estate investments and, transactions, be it on the buying or selling side. Maybe it's my love of education and my love of knowledge that there's not a week that goes by that I'm not learning another pointer or tip from David that I'm putting in my little treasure chest, like my personal MBA for real estate. Lastly, the man does not overpromise. He promises wisely and then over-delivers, which is something I think that every professional, whether you're in real estate or not, truly values. Before my house went under contract, which has gone on, I said I offered, I said, I don't even know if you do this, I want to give you a testimonial. It was the day we listed the house, and I remember that day he said, well, you want to wait until it goes under contract because it will fairly quickly. And I said, but David, how could it? This is not the right season. We're coming into the holiday season. We're in a buyer's market. And he said, Lillian, I'm confident in his quiet, comfortable, wise way. So this was planned well before the house went under contract, 2 weeks to the day that it went on the market. So once again, he delivered on the goods beyond my most hoped for expectations. I have never met a realtor who has finer communication skills and truly, walks his talk. He told me the first time I interviewed him for listing my house that communication was incredibly valued, highly valued by him, and that he had done a ton of research over the years and found that that's what customers are looking for the most. That's what a consumer wants. And I thought, oh, that's what I want. I'm a consumer psychologist. Yes, that's what everybody wants, but will he deliver? There's not a 24-hour period that goes by that I don't get either an email from him, a phone call. It's almost as if he's reading my mind. And even when there's nothing to report, he'll just maybe feel my, I wonder what's happening kind of sense that I think we consumers feel, and just send me a little quick email, which I also value. I don't have to spend time kind of like going through gobs of paragraphs, and just say, just touching in, Lillian, wanted you to know that there were a couple of showings yesterday. You know that because I sent you the call reports on them. So that level of communication is way more than I ever had hoped for, and I guess you would call it my ideal. I've already, before my house went into a contract, I already put 2 people onto him who are planning to relocate to this great city. And they too have what I would call major market background: Philadelphia, New York, Minneapolis, Los Angeles, and I know they're going to be thrilled with him just as I was. I would say don't even look further. You might want to do like I do, because my area is research and marketing. You may want to do that pro forma search of talking to David and 1 or 2 others, but just get ready to have your pen ready to sign on the dotted line, because I think that he will blow away the competition. just by being himself. When I went to list this house, I was on a business trip, a 4-week business trip around the country. I called him up and said, I have an investment property, and could he take a look at it? And I was calling one other top realtor in town who I have the greatest respect for. In 36 hours, David had investigated every single house in its comparable category, visited it, photographed it, done a complete analysis of every house within a 5-mile radius, which goes beyond the call of duty, visited the house itself, met with the person that was living in my investment house, who was one of the most discriminating individuals you could have, interviewed her to the nth degree to make sure he understood everything about it. So as I'm on the West Coast, he's getting the full scoop on the East Coast. 36 hours later, he had a full analysis and report for me, and an enthusiastic, optimistic bottom line, which is, let's get this on the market immediately, and I would like to see this house closed before the end of the year, and that would be by listing it on November 5th. The other realtor hadn't even returned my phone call by the time the listing, was being signed, and we're probably going to be closing December 15th, which gives him 2 weeks before his aggressive deadline. I like that. I think whether you're a single business person, married with a family, younger, first-time home buyer, or perhaps a more mature person in the industry as I am, you cannot go wrong with this man. He gets my vote for Best Realtor of the Year.